When every second counts, the surface matters. Premier Equestrian features Pro-Tex footing product and Auto Sport base mats. Mats absorb up to 40% of the concussion. Pro-Tex provides maximum stability. Premier Equestrian is the official footing partner of Major League Show Jumping. Contact us about your arena at premierequestrian.com.
Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. Unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse deaths. And I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing, amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
There are 8 teams competing in round 1, and the order is decided by a draw. The ideal position, pole position, is to go last. There are 3 riders per team in round 1. Every round of the 3 riders counts towards the team total, in this case faults and time, and a combined score of all 3 for the final team score. The rankings are decided by faults first and foremost. If you drop below the cut line, you're out. Stay above the cut line and you're on to round 2 as part of the top 4. 4 in, 4 out. It's this simple for round 1. Go fast, no rails, stay above the cut line and you're into round 2. Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to the first stage, the final 2 stages of Major League Show Jumping, as we have made our way to California and the Desert Horse Park. This is where it comes down to the final few steps on the road for deciding the final. The final, of course, here next week as well, but this week on the turf for the beautiful arena here, and next week staying in the same venue but heading over to the stadium for that as well. So lots to come up. We're going to take you through the teams and how they sit in the championship at the moment as well, and why it's so crucial over, especially this week too, with the lead in there, because double points on that final stage means that they've got to close up those gaps to stand a chance to get to the top of the podium. Helios at the top of the podium at the moment in the run-up to these final 2 stages of Major League Jumping for 2022. Being held to account by the team that won the championship last year, Eye Candy, on a score of 51, 9 points back from our leading teams so far. So again, those 2 teams, Eye Candy, are going to try and make sure that the gap doesn't stay too big, and will want to have a good result here. All eyes will be on Helios, because if they can get a win here, they could put some big daylight between them and the rest going into that final reckoning next week as well over in the stadium under lights. But today is coming to a run-in now for what we expect for our 8 teams, and some really interesting lineups coming here. Now, the draw this time was decided by car racing. They went over to BMW's Performance Centre and raced BMWs, and the best team out of it all was Spyco Spies, who will go last here. We'll start off with the Canadian lineup of the Northern Lights. The local team, the Road Runners, associated here with the Desert Horse Park, goes second. Eye Candy SA after that key point run here, those champions previously, in third of the lineup. Trailblazers go fourth. The current leaders in the championship, Helios, going 5th. 6th place, the Crusaders at the moment. They will go in that order. Logano, they are lowest. They are in 8th position on the overall championship at the moment, and they go 7th. Then Spy Coast, again, after a series of number 2 finishes, will be looking to try and go number 1 here in the desert. Can they do that and take themselves into a good position? They sit at the moment well in the championship as well. They're sitting top 3 in all of that shake-up. So important points from all of those to decide how this will all play out here at the Desert Horse Park. But Northern Lights going to kick things off. All eyes are going to be on Helios for how this plays out this week. 10 points for a win here this week. Next week it's going to be double points, 20 points for a win, which will make things even more interesting. I can tell you for Team Helios, they're putting out a strong group of Simon McCarthy, Carl Cook and Ashley Bond, with Spyco Spies, Rodrigo Lamare, Jordan Coyle and the ever-experienced Mlsj Engel-Goldstein. I can say throughout all of the teams here, the 8 teams, they're looking very, very strong indeed. So remember, under the usual format, we'll take you through the 3 rounds of competition, with that first round for all 3 riders, 2 riders and 1. And so we're going to have a look at the track laid out by Michel Valancourt for round 1 here. And starting off with the vertical, the Calais vertical, 7 strides down to fence 2. After that, the high gain fence as our second on course. Then they've got a chance here to make up some ground with some quick turnbacks to 3 and 4. A 150 vertical at the Major League fence, and turning around the natural fence there to fence 4 to the Whittier Trust fence at the Oxford at the next at 4. Then takes them into the triple combination with 1 stride and 2 through here, through the silver birch triple, and then on a curving line to the right to fence 6. 7 stride from the Golden Horses down to the Marshall and Sterling fence at fence 7, and then a roll back then from the top of the arena to the Cabana Coast at fence 8 with a water race. 6 forward strides into the Major League double, and from there 5 strides up to a 145, 155 in spread Oxer at the Butterflies. 11 is another 150 vertical there, little style there to test them out, coming down on the 6 strides to fence 12 again with 155 spread at the CP fence, and final fence to complete is an Oxer to take them to the last again at 1 meter 55 to finish off at the Premier Equestrian fence at the last. Time allowed of 80 seconds, and in this first round it's faults and time as the deciding factor here. So that's what lies in store in round 1. As I say, in rounds 2 and 3, it's a shortened course with the Table C format with 3 seconds added to the time to take them into it. But we're delighted to welcome out to sing the national anthem is Terry Olsen, a veteran of 4 Broadway shows, sang backup for Carly Simon, and as recently in the fabulous Palm Springs Follies. And delighted to have her here to sing the national anthem as we welcome out Terry Olsen onto this wonderful grass field here at the Desert Horse Park.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And certainly the perfect way to start the $200,000 Major League Show Jumping Team Competition. And again, this is the 9th of 10 legs. And the 10th
And first team getting ready to go here. And as I say, we're going to be starting with the Show Plus, Northern Lights, Roadrunners, Eye Candy, Trailblazers, Helios, Crusaders, Logano, and Spyco Spies in round 1. That's the order of go for round 1. What the order of go is for round 2? Well, that's up to the riders to ride themselves into position for that. So starting us off will be the Show Plus, Northern Lights. And here we go. Very good team of Tiffany Foster and Brighton for Canada. The Canadian Olympian will be first out for them. And in fact, I think her first time coming into this. Sean Jobin, a good experienced rider now of the lineups for the Major League Jumping with Darius, also for Canada. And completing the Maple Leaf lineup is Grand Prix winner Jim Ifko and Un Diamant du Forêt. So it is a familiar lineup of flags there. Show Plus Northern Lights team, and my own light of the afternoon alongside me is Hannah Robson. Hannah, you're going to be taking us through some of the team rundowns as well. But lovely to see out, as we've seen, with the Maple Leaf flying for all 3 team members.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really nice to see 3 Canadian riders on the Show Plus Northern Lights team. This team are sitting in 7th place in the overall standings, and they have had some good results. They had a podium finish at our second leg at first trip to Traverse City, but they've just been struggling to get into the top 4 a couple of times, struggling in terms of the time.
And 3 times they finished in 5th place, so they've gone close to being into that big lineup as well. And a couple of 8th places as well, which hasn't helped their score through the season. So we want some 1, 2s and 3s over the next two stages for the Northern Lights to get themselves up the order. On a score of 27 points for the overall championship at the moment. I'll put that in perspective. The leading team on a score of 60. So there's quite a bit to make up there if they were going to stand a chance of getting on a podium through the season. But as I say, today can make a difference, and next week makes a big difference on double points. But Tiffany Foster, great experience from her. Grand Prix winner here in the US before now. Regular championship team rider. I say several Olympic Games for Tiffany behind her. Into this triple combination, to say through they go on that one. 2 strides and 1. Curving line to 6 again. Just got to take a little bit of care down here as a big vertical on the way out there at 7, but handling this very easily so far. Looks like she might get them off to a very good start. Really nice turn up to the Cabana Coast Vent, and then you get a good old moving line on the 6 into that Major League double. Just a little more of a hold on the 5 down to the Butterflies at the next. And then this is where he's just asking you for a little bit of care as well at the skinnied up style there at 11. It stands at 1 meter 50. The CP fence then finally the last. Again, you get a chance to get a good run down here on the 8 strides to the final fence. And let's see where that puts them. 71.8 as a time and going clear. Very good start from Tiffany Foster for the team for the Show Plus Northern Lights. This could be, I feel, a fight back week for some of the teams that are a little bit lower in the order that start to want to. They've got 2 stages left to just prove a point.
Yeah, I really think so. The Show Plus Northern Lights are a really interesting team in that they've got 2 riders who are riding on the team for the first time this season. And interesting to have Tiffany out first because it is time that has been a challenge for the team in recent weeks. And that's what's kept them out of the top 4. But getting that really good time down early on, as we've said in previous legs, actually sometimes being the first out for the team in this competition can be quite a lot of pressure. You're really setting the tone and setting the standard for what your teammates need to do.
Absolutely. We'll see how that rolls in perspective of the rest of the teams. Time allowed of 80 seconds to just give you a little rundown of how that works. So you see she's a good way inside that, so she's definitely kept moving. We're just waiting on Sean Jobin coming up next, who's going to be second for the team. Just a little hold, I think, for a moment. Not sure whether there's a little tack change issue going on over there, just trying to get that back together. Either way, there'll be a moment or two before they head in, and it gives us a chance to talk about those teams. Show Plus Northern Lights in 7th at the moment. We've got Roadrunners coming up here in 6th. We've got Team Lugano 8th place at the moment. Those 3 teams, there's a very slim chance they could still get up into those top 3 or 4 teams for the end of season, which again makes a big difference in terms of prize money and also, of course, team pride and team respect. So we will see if this is a good chance for them. Sean Jobin, as I say there, I think they were just making a little tack adjustment there. Oh, there we go. Just getting a little helping hand coming in with Darius, but has a good start there with Tiffany Foster and Brighton. Sean Jobin with Darius. Now, he's been on the team that were 3rd in Traverse City, so he's tasted podiums so far.
Yes, he has. He's actually made quite a few appearances on the team. He's jumped 2 good clear rounds, which is quite strange to me, in the sense that he's actually ridden on the team a lot of times, because in Monterey in both weeks he actually jumped clear, but he just picked up time penalties.
Yeah.
In San Miguel, he just had 4 penalties. So jumped clear twice, but he's been on the team a lot of times, 7 times in fact. And so that's about a 25% clear round rate across his rounds for the team.
So Sean Jobin to follow up on Tiffany Foster's good start. Then it'll be Jim Ifko after that with Un Diamant de Forêt. And if I'm right, he's just jumped one of the warm-up classes then into this in terms of what Jim's coming to do. So he's been very much keeping the powder dry, ready for this class as well. Sean Jobin, decent start to get them onto a good run. Again, he's given Michelle Valancourt, our course designer, has given you plenty of room to get moving around this arena, but also giving you plenty of room, which can also mean you just lose a bit of ground as well. Just got to be really careful on keeping it tight. Pretty efficient there from Sean. As I say, this more, of course, I would hope they're not going to sit on the time faults and the pace they're going at. They should be good here today from that point of view. Clean through the triple combination. Gets the 4. That's going to be a very standard 4 down there to the Marston Sterling fence. Not a lot to play with down there. And then off the end of the arena, just gets a little deeper into the Cabana Coast. He's just going to need a little more oomph coming through this double, which he gets. And now they're getting fired up for the final few fences. Just getting them set for that skinny hold and then go.
Big shot there.
Good down to the last, and it's another good round for the team, 75.5, but it's going to be on a clear as well. Now remember the times, we've been talking times make a difference because they're 75.5 against 71.8 to Tiffany Foster. So what a 3, nearly 4 second gap between those two. So he's just that little bit steadier, but Tiffany Foster maybe gained them a bit of ground to start with, being round in 71.8. The good thing is, or the hard thing is, we don't really know until this plays out a bit further.
Exactly, and I think a couple of times in the more recent legs, actually that's something that's played out for the Show Plus Northern Lights already, because they have tended to go quite early in the order, and therefore they're not able to see how fast they need to go. So I think from the off, they're really going for it in terms of time, and I really do think in terms of the choice of riders and horses, they're going for those quicker ones. You know, they've had Juan Ortiz on their team a lot this year, but he's a rider who isn't necessarily able to go quite as quickly as some others.
But for the big tracks, absolutely suited.
Exactly, yeah.
Jim Ifko and Demion de Forêt, one appearance from them as well, and that was on the podium, and that was top 3 in Traverse City too. This is a horse that I've seen a lot of times jumping Grand Prix, winning Grand Prix as well. They're fast and efficient, and now for the rider from the Eventide Farms up in Canada, a good opportunity to follow up with his teammates. A little bit of national pride on for the Northern Lights as well, which is good to see into these final stages. Just a little bit steady there. Got to work on the way out. Yeah, was just getting a little stuck in that triple. And so is going to be on the 4. That gets carried through as the team score, as you can see up there. You see the cut line. They've got to be above that because the top 4 teams go forward to round 2. The bottom 4 teams go and sit and have a coffee for the rest of the afternoon. That's them done and dusted. But they will get points there as well. So where they finish in that, whether it's 8th through to 5th place, is also very crucial too. But Jim Ifko is keeping up a good run here because, again, time can play a part. If we ended up with 3 teams, say 2 or 3 or whatever it is, on 4 faults, they'll be separated by times. Now he's going to be pretty much on a similar time to that of Sean Jobin. He's going to be at 75.68, but he's going to be on the 4. So just on the 4 faults there for the team, 2:22.98. Now that's a combined time of the 3 riders together. So combined score on the 4, and then on the combined time of 2:22.98 for the team for the Northern Lights. But that's not a bad start. But as I say, we don't know. We could end up with 7 teams on a clear yet.
Exactly. It is all relative in this competition, especially in our legs in Monterey. Actually, we saw some really high scores, some high faulting scores, and so it's all relative. So
Kyle King is going to be heading in for the Roadrunners, the team made up of Kyle King and Echelon, Arturo Parada and Pandora for Mexico, and giving it a little bit more West Coast feel is Kanan Campbell and Kaiser Van Het Lambruck for the next of the US riders in that lineup as well. Now, interesting, probably sending out their strongest rider out first with Kyle King and Echelon. Nice win that we saw them had a few weeks ago when we were down in Mexico too. And he's on home ground here over on the West Coast. Really a lot of pride here to be had for that. And he'll be looking to be excited to lead them off. We've got number 13 on his back. I hope it's not unlucky. I hope it's a lucky one for him. But because, again, he's been performing pretty well for them. But it's a team yet this season have had no podium.
No, they haven't, unfortunately. The highest place that the Roadrunners have had is 4th. They've had 3 4th place finishes, actually. So they do really want to get a podium finish. They're quite keen to do that on home turf. Kyle, of course, as you say, is very on form, and especially with Etalon. It's a horse that he's had 2 5-star wins with very recently. He jumped a clear in the first round in Monterey in our second week there. That was his only clear for the team, though. But he's helped them to various good results. But unfortunately, just not quite getting onto the podium.
Got some pretty good foot speed at the moment as well for this pair. Just I was going to say, just got to be careful the way out. They were just getting a little forward on there and just rolls the pole coming in. So they're going to be on the 4. That's why I say you start to get the perspective for the different teams. We watched one with the Northern Lights. Is 4 good? Is 4 not? Where is it going to sit? I think we'll see very shortly that 4 still will be a good score in there. Just very easy to roll a rail. And again, Kyle King's done this a few times now. He knows whatever he does here, just keep going. Just keep motoring from that point of view. Oh, and just, unfortunately, again, speeds cost them on the turn.
Yeah,
so
cost them on the skinny fence.
Yeah, going to be on the 8 then getting home, which is not the score they would have wanted. It's going to be 8 there for Kyle King. And Echelon, look at the time, 67.76. So that's storming round. I mean, that's... 4 seconds ahead of Tiffany Foster, what she put together, but the difference is there's 2 down on the way. So
it's a fine line.
Swings and roundabouts. Swings and roundabouts. So Northern Lights complete on the 4. So already Roadrunners are behind them because they're carrying 8 and they've still got 2 riders to come. Arturo Parada and Pandora kicked off competition in Vancouver as well. As you say, the team has been a number of times into 4 spot. Arturo to now wave the Mexican flag here for the teams.
Yeah, and he's jumped on the legs of the tour in San Miguel and the first leg in Monterey. Unfortunately, didn't quite have the round that he would have wanted in Monterey, but just had 1 fence down in San Miguel for the team. They're helping them to a 7th place finish. But he's not a rider that we've seen on the team competition very much so far. But he has got quite a bit to do now with Kyle having had the 8.
Still pretty quick so far. Nice line out. As you say, he's basically the 2 team members have got to get home with the clear if they're going to stand a chance here this afternoon. As I say, we've got some very strong groups coming up this time around, and deliberately so. They're really going wall to wall with their best riders coming into these final 2 stages, because this is where it's won or lost if you look at the championship, or there are tens of thousands of dollars, if not more, on the line for those teams a little bit further down into the order at the moment as well. Coming into the last on a good round. It's going to be clear, and it's going to be pretty fast as well. 71.58, producing a clear there for Arturo Parada and Pandora. So makes up a little bit of the ground lost by Kyle King on the 8 faults there, and gives them still a chance. But again, the pressure is going to go on the 3rd rider because it all counts. Caitlin Campbell has got to go and basically do the same thing. But Kyle King there on the 8, Arturo Parada on the 0. Now, time-wise, they're pretty good. If we get a couple of teams on 8, they may have a bit of advantage there, having had the fast 67.76 from Kyle King. Caitlin Campbell and Kaiser Van Het Lambrook, these days based over on the West Coast as well, originally hailing from the East. And she's made quite a few team appearances, and she's been in one of those 4 spots as well.
Yes, she has. She's jumped 3 clear rounds for the team so far, 1 being in Vancouver, 1 in the 2nd round in Toronto, and then in Monterey as well. So that's about 60% clear actually for her, as she's jumped 6 rounds for the team. This, though, is quite a new horse for her. She's jumped this horse in Las Vegas a few weeks ago, and that was their first competition together. So a little bit newer.
Yeah, a little bit more of a steady approach looking at this than, say, Kyle King with Echelon, who, although he had fences down, was a little keener into the fences from that point of view because they've got that confidence in them.
Yeah, and I think as she's getting used to the horse and getting used to the horse at this level especially, she will be taking a slightly steadier approach. And as you say, actually for the 2nd and 3rd riders of this team, it's really crucial that they try to keep the fences up as much as they can.
Really, from this team's point of view, with the 8 there, the key here is get the clear, get the 0 score in there done, and they're just going to have to really see where it comes out for time. But what they cannot afford is a fence, and what Caitlin's doing well here is keeping it at the 0 score at the moment. She's not trying to chase home as fast as, say, Kyle did, because, as I say, they're a bit more mileage on the clock between those 2. She's doing a really efficient round now to get herself home in a good mid-range time. Going clear at 74.56. That was nicely done for Caitlin Campbell. But the team will be on a score of 8. and a final time you see 2:13.90. That is, 9 seconds faster the combined time of the Show Plus Northern Lights. Now, why do you say that's relevant? Well, actually, I'm just putting that into relevance for the teams coming a little bit later on, is what I'm thinking from that point of view. There's potential for a big slice off there in terms of team times. But 4 in for the Northern Lights, 8 in for the Roadrunners. The Eye Candy team are ready to see if they can try and climb up those extra few points to get a little closer to Team Helios in the championship here. They're sending out the world number 5 Connor Swell and Theo, Amy Miller, Olympic rider for Canada with Cristiano, and world championship rider Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun. So got 2 for Ireland and 1 for Canada. Now, great experience here because they've had 2 wins so far this season for the Eye Candy team.
Yes, 2 wins, one being at Traverse City in September, the second trip that we had there, and then 1 at our most recent leg in Monterey. And that was a fantastic performance in the medal jump off for Paul O'Shea to clinch that win. Actually, Amy Miller was also on the team when they won in Traverse City, and she hasn't been on the team since then. So I think that's quite a crucial addition, or a re-addition to the team. But Connor, of course, is a rider that you would absolutely bank on in a competition like this. He's jumped 6 clears for the team so far, those being in Traverse City. That was a double clear. Also double clear in San Miguel, and then 1 clear round in Monterey as well. That gives him 63% clear round rate for the team this year.
Yeah, and he was on that winning team as well at the American Gold Cup meeting there as well. So Connor Swale needing little introduction these days as a prolific winner of classes on both sides of the Atlantic, has swept up quite a few classes over here on the West Coast before now as well. But with Theo for the Phillip Arts family has built a really nice partnership too. Nice, really light athletic type through here, and Connor is looking to get the Eye Candy team off to a fast start, because Eye Candy here are on the rounds, if you like, that will make or break whether they take a run at the championship for a second time, depending what Team Helios do, of course. But they want to be in the game here if they're going to stand a chance. And
I think they are chasing for a good result here, and they are chasing for a top finish in the overall season. They are a competitive team, and rightly so, because they've got a fantastic lineup of riders and horses.
Connor Swale look as though he could be round about the 70 or just under with his round as well, and getting him off to a terrific start. 69.78. Connor Swale with the 0 score for the Eye Candy squad. There we go. And, well, that is the start they want. The continuation is the tough bit, but 2 good ones to come and continue that as well. Now, 5 times they've been on the podium. Interestingly, never second place. They've been first or third, which I then compare to Team Helios, which is really interesting in their results, because they've only been on the podiums when they've been first.
Yes, exactly.
They've literally been first or 7th and 6th, basically. Having a quick look down there, there's not a lot in between. It's one or done.
Yeah, it's either win or not quite their day. Yeah.
So really interested from those teams that get in there, that it's the number 1 spot that really counts. And then you've got the other end of the extreme with Spyco Spies. They've been so close, 5 times second place they've been on the podium, but again they've only been at second place. No ones, no threes, all 2s all the way down. Amy Miller and Cristiano is the lady of the moment though, with the Olympic Canadian rider. As we said, she was on that winning team at the American Gold Cup back in September as well. Terrifically tough rider to get in there and get the job done.
And she was the winning rider in the medal jump-off, of course, as well, getting them the gold over the silver spot. I was just going to say as well that Eye Candy have actually been in the top 5 in every competition so far this season. That's another way of looking at it, whereas, you know, Spy Coast and Helios have kind of had very good podium finishes, and they've been 7th and 8th.
It's up or down.
Yeah. Whereas Eye Candy arguably have been very, very consistent. Amy has jumped 3 clears for the team, those coming in Toronto and Traverse City.
Still good so far from Amy Miller. Let's say Eye Candy, the champions last year, got an eye on that overall prize this season, putting $500,000 on that overall championship. So there's a lot to play for that. It's a big chunk of change to go for, and Amy Miller is going to help Eye Candy to get a little closer to that, because key here is get into that second round. 2 clears behind them, looking stronger and stronger. Mercedes, it's going to be really interesting to see how these teams can take Eye Candy that's strong. Trailblazers brings out like Dara Kenny, Lily Keelan, Helios with 3-time winners, Simon McCarthy, Carl Cook, Ashley Bond, then Spyco Spice, Rodrigo Lamre, Jordan Coyle, Archie Goldstein Engel. They're really strong, those top teams coming in there, but we've got strength all the way through in these final 2 stages as they look to get the job done. Winner in Monterey, it is Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun now. And, well, terrific round they jumped there. And, we will remember for quite a long time that indoor round there, they just came flying down to the last.
Oh, it was so good. So brilliant. Paul, as you say, was just so confident down to that final fence. And you can really trust his horses to gallop at the fences. Squirt Gun's been going better and better for him. And again, he's been a really key part of the team. He's actually appeared on the team 6 times, this year. Jumped 4 clears for the team. But he was crucial for Team Eye Candy in 2021. He was on the team when they were on the podium about 70% of the time.
Yeah, this has been a pair that have really just been the horse and rider of Major League Jumping over its short history of 2 years.
Of course, he was the individual overall winner last year as well.
We've got the contenders for that going at it as well, which will be interesting. Ken Farrington's in second for that at the moment. Shane Sweetenham above him. Shane not here this week. Kent got a chance to get some valuable points too. $100,000 on that championship too, so there's a lot to play for there. But look at this for a really good shot there from Paul O'Shea, really keenly down. He's going to get a quick round out of this if he gets home at the last, staying in the cups. And he will do that. 69.005. Eye Candy are eyeing up the championship once again. So it is going to be an overall team score of 0, 2, 1, 2, 16. And you would hope that a 0 score guarantees your spot into round 2. There's nothing to say it will, which is why they've also got some pace on it.
Yeah, that's our fastest time as a team overall so far. Quite close between the times of the Roadrunners and of Team Eye Candy, but Eye Candy were more consistently fast across the 3 riders.
So Eye Candy with their score slotted in, 2-1-2-16. It was just only a second or so quicker than the Roadrunners, a combined team, but it averaged out at just around the 72 mark. On to the Trailblazers now, 4th in the championship at the moment on a score of 38. Still in contention for a podium finish. Who knows? Could be some big changes and maybe still go for a win. A very, very outside chance, but still a chance of a podium in the overall championship yet as well, sitting in 4th place there. For the team, it's Lily Keenan, Luis Sabino Gonzalez of Portugal, and Dara Kenny. So 3 big championship riders, world championships between them, even Olympic Games through to Dara Kenny as well. Luis Sabino, who comes onto the team, I think, for the first time as well. He's been a European championship rider for Portugal. And so they've got real strength in here coming out for this big class.
Enormously so. The Trailblazers have finished on the podium 4 times so far this year, and 3 of those have been in our last 4 legs of competition. So they did make quite a lot of changes in the mid-season transfer window, bringing on 4 new riders. Lily Keenan was one, Dara Kenny was another, and both of those on the team once again, and they were helping the team to the 2nd and 3rd place finishes in Monterey.
Lily Keenan, of course, riding a wave at the moment, went so brilliantly with the big Grand Prix win down in Monterey, followed it up with the World Cup win in Las Vegas as well. So coming in with confidence over the Whittier Trust fence, our sponsors of the team class here today, and have been big sponsors throughout the week here at the Desert International Horse Park.
And I think that's a key thing here, actually, for Lily, that, as you say, she's really on form and she's done extremely well with a lot of her different horses. It hasn't just come with one horse, so that's got to give her a lot of confidence coming into this. And
Agana is a horse she's won a lot of big classes with, done very well, right the way through to big US team run-ups as well. She's got confidence in this horse and she can really take a run at these fences. They should cope with this well. Gets into that skinny one, just says wait, sets themselves back up for the CP fence, And again, it's going to be speedy enough here, around about the 69 mark, 70.49. And a clear for Lily Keenan, and that's another one we'd have probably counted on to produce the clear at the moment. Lily Keenan gets the Trailblazers off to a good start. As I say, there's still a big outside chance they could play contenders for the overall championship, but certainly massive chances of finishing on the podium for the championship.
I really think there is. I think it's been a little bit of an improved tale in the second half of the season for the Trailblazers. You know, they had 2 7th places early on, those coming at Traverse City and Toronto, and then a 6th in Ottawa. You know, the seconds and the thirds that have been coming more recently have shown that they've been very consistent with this new lineup.
Luis Sabino Gonzalez now and Victor Crossi. I think first time onto the team for Luis, who's, as I say, got lots of championship experience. He also produced Argan de Belliard, the very good grey horse that Lily Keenan's been riding. He actually won some big classes down here in California. He's actually based down in California now. He did head back to Europe for a time over the summer, but is mainly concentrating his jumping over here in the US in the last couple of years. Luis, a really gritty rider, super team rider. I've seen him riding on teams for Portugal as well. Gets in there, gets the job done, and he's just trying to do exactly that again here. And of course, he's backed up by Dara Kenny as well. Lily's got her bit done. We're in for a real top drawer, I think, battle here this week.
I think all of these teams are really strong here this afternoon, and that's something that a few of the riders have commented on, that actually this is a really difficult competition to call. In some, you know, it's not the case that in our previous legs we haven't had that, but they are really bringing out the top horses and the top riders this time. And as you were saying earlier, we've got a few horses on the teams who haven't jumped very much this week, and they've been saved for this.
Absolutely. Well, saving another good round for this competition is Luis Sabino Gonzalez and Vicky de Courcy. And so they go clear as well. So 2 clears in the bag for the Trailblazers. Eye Candy team with the clear in there as 2. As I say, you would hope the clear will put you into round 2. It's no guarantee yet, because we're only on to, team 4. We've got another 4 teams to come out of this. So again, you can see why they're putting a run at the course. They're really attacking it, because they might well need those times to separate between going through and not going through. It's no good sitting 5th here this afternoon. Dara Kenny and Chic for Dara, for the Irish international rider, I say, right the way through to the Olympics last year as well. And for him, as you say, he came into the second part of the season, but already has put 2 podium finishes behind him.
Yeah, helped the team to the 2nd and 3rd places in Monterey, and in both of those competitions, he only dropped 1 pole over the 2 rounds that he jumped. He's also been the rider that's been selected to get them into the medal jump-off rounds. Mm-hmm. So arguably he's been the one that's been counted on to get a good, fast time. Here, though, with 2 clears already, he's just taking a slightly steadier approach into the triple combination. They've already got a really good result in 2 clears already, and knowing that Team Eye Candy are finishing on a clean sheet, he could really do with another clear to keep the Trailblazers on the same score. But Chic is a really experienced horse for him. Yeah,
and a nice turn up there to the Cabana Coast. That was very efficient indeed. Did not leave a lot of space there. So although he's not racing, he's certainly moving. He's definitely keeping a good, quicker pace to this. That's just a nice rolling rhythm across the ground here for Dara.
And tighter lines as well.
Yeah. Looking good so far with Chic for the Vlog Show stables. There we go. It is 70.91 and a clear. So 3 clears. So that is going to be also a team on a clear score. So Trailblazers, overall score of 211. So for them, 2:11.04, they are a little bit quicker than the Eye Candy team. Eye Candy team, 2:12.16. So Trailblazers are looking to guarantee their spot. Now, 4 teams gone, 4 teams to go. This is where we start to get into the position as well. We start to know who's going to stay in, who's going for a little relaxing night in the desert.
Well, we hope that it's not the home team, the Roadrunners, but they are in 4th place, so I'm sure they'll be watching the rest of these teams very keenly.
The team they're going to be watching very keenly is this one. It is the series leaders at the moment. Team Helios, Simon McCarthy and Gotcha for Ireland, Carl Cook of the USA with Kalinka van Zorgvliet, and Ashley Bond Donatello riding for Israel. But definitely a homebody here to California as well, where she hails from originally. And this is strong.
Very, very strong. They are the team to beat at the moment, of course, being in the lead in the overall season championship. And they are 9 points clear of the Eye Candy team, who are in 2nd. But all of their riders have got really strong clear round rates. Simon has helped the team to 2 wins, one being in Traverse City. And that was a fantastic result for him. But in Monterey, he just had 1 fence down in each of the rounds there. So he's jumped 2 clears for the team so far.
Carl Cook, Ashley Bond still to come, as you say, Simon McCarthy. I'm going to start off with Gotcha, who's been a big part of that team. In fact, 3 wins for him and through out on 3 times on the winning teams, 2 times, as you say, riding out for the win there as well. And so he comes in as one of the strongest actual riders of the overall championship, probably slightly overlooked in that with some of the bigger star names in there. And he has done such a terrific job here. It's given him a great opportunity with this horse as well to just prove themselves over these big tracks. Simon McCarthy then to go first. Still cleanly just under 4 strides there to the Marshall and Sterling. And then this line here, he goes a little bit wider. Dara Kenny, we saw there, coming really efficiently to it. Simon getting out there, getting straight back up that line.
I think what you really notice about Team Helios as well is the depth of their squad. And when you look at the number of times that their team riders have jumped, none of them have jumped more than 4 times, whereas in some other teams, you know, we've had riders jumping 7 times. Oh, now
gone. Gone.
That is a shock.
Well, it's going to make it, well, I won't say make it difficult, it's going to make it harder. So just on the 4 there for Simon McCarthy and Gotcha, but with 2 teams on a 0 score. 4 comes into play. Remember, Northern Lights already home on a 4-fault completed team score. Carl Cook and Ashley Bond cannot afford a fence now.
They have to jump clear if they are to stay in contention, and it wasn't necessarily the fastest round either, 75.3. So in terms of time, even if they now finish on 4, the Show Plus Northern Lights time was pretty quick as well. It's not the fastest that we've had, but they've got to be careful on the clock too.
And interestingly, I mean, we say how strong this group is, Simon, Carl and Ashley, as a configuration of their winning teams. They haven't used this configuration as a winning team yet, although they've, you know, each done their own bit.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say they've got the strength in there to keep moving things around.
And when they had their first 3 wins, they had 3 wins in a row of the first 3 legs, of course. Actually, all of those came with completely different lineups as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, a little bit of a skid there.
Yeah, Carl Cook on the horse that he won the Hampton Classic Grand Prix this year.
Carl's jumped 5 clears for the team, double clears in both times out at Traverse City, and then 1 clear in Monterey. That was when he helped them to the win there.
Carl, of course, back on home ground here in California as well.
He's got one of the strongest clear round rates of any of the team riders, 71%. It's the second highest of his team, Eugenio Garza only being higher than that.
Yeah, Eugenio, I think, has been on 3 winning teams as well from that point of view. Eugenio, you know, they're so strong. Eugenio on the sidelines this week from that point of view. Carl Cook needing to keep up that clear round rate for the team to give them a chance here, Team Helios. What will they stay with? They will stay with the 4, but he's a little bit steadier at 74.39, so it's sort of mid-range time from that point of view. Simon McCarthy was on 75, so they haven't gone blazing around there either. So they're on the 4. It's going to be close, because when I then look at Northern Lights, they had 71.8, 75.5 and 75.68. Now those first 2 riders have been in a similar vein to that. Ashley Bond is going to need a clear and a fast one to get themselves ahead of the Northern Lights and just give them a little bit of breathing space here. So she's going to want to be around about the 69, 70 mark, I would say, from that point of view.
And I think if anybody's likely to go for the time, It could well be Ashley
It could
Bond.
well be her. I mean, it's the right person to go for it
Yeah.
because naturally that's the way they go. So she's going to be going on Donatello from that point of view.
I'm not sure that she's jumped Donatello in a competition here this week yet. Well, certainly only earlier on in the week. So the horse is coming to this competition really quite fresh.
So there's 2 scores in already. Simon McCarthy on the 4, Carl Cook on the 0. Both sort of averaging about the 75 mark in terms of seconds, just a little under that. There you get the backdrop here of the mountains here in the desert here over in California, just outside La Quinta. Beautiful spot here at the Desert International Horse Park. This beautifully created arena for these events here for the 5 stars for Major League Jumping. Like I say, we go to the other end of the property next week into the stadium, and you have to say the team here have done an amazing job behind the Desert Horse Park for the last couple of seasons. Massive renovations, massive changes. It really is a transformed venue that is really sitting in the world-class group now, and it's great for California, it's great for the USA as well. But average of 73.29, you were just looking at, Hannah, for those 2 scores for Simon and Carl.
Actually, I was just
For the
looking at
Northern
what Ashley would need to
Yeah.
do in order for them to finish ahead of the Northern Lights on a total of 4. So she's got to be faster than 73, basically.
Okay, perfect. That gives us a little bit of a target to go for from that point of view.
And I'm sure she will try to go faster than that. You know, we've already had times of Kyle King 67.76, Connor Swale 69.78, Luis Sabino Gonçalves actually 69.64 as well.
Yeah. Should be able to come up with that within their ability. Ashley Bond, Donatello, Grand Prix winner in Monterey, of course, for those that were following back a few weeks ago. An emotional success for her there as well. And good to see some of the family here for support here for this event. So she's, as I say, back on home ground. Originally from California, now with a base over in Florida as well. But these are very much the home people to be around.
Yeah, the home people, absolutely. And Ashley, this is her 4th appearance on the team competition. She's jumped 4 clears already for them. She's jumped clears for the team in Vancouver, Traverse City and San Miguel. But even when she hasn't been jumping on the team, she's very much been there on the phone, cheering on from
team
afar.
Manager for Team Helios. You know, she's very much driving the bus here. But as you say, she's been there. She's been making sure everything's sorted. They've got some of the best team kit going as well. They've swagged out on the whole thing too.
In fact, I remember her on the phone to the team, cheering them on while she was at the World Championships.
She was,
as well.
yeah. Yeah, back there was in back at that
At Traverse City.
Traverse City.
And they've got a great team camaraderie between them as well. But, you know, just saying about Ashley being at the World Championships, looking down this lineup, they do have a few championship riders. Such a strong squad.
Well, there we see a good round coming together. Time's going to be right at 71.99. And Ashley Bonds and Donatello 141 will finish on the 4 as a team. 2:21.68. So does by literally
that is close.
1 second and 0.3 keep them ahead of the Northern Lights. So we're doing a little bit of maths there, and it got close to it in the end. But there we go. It is enough from Ashley Bond with a clear 71.99. That's what she needed out of the bag with Team Helios to keep them ahead of the Northern Lights. It doesn't guarantee it. There are still 3 more teams that could knock them out of this yet. The teams that are sitting in a happier place, the likes of Trailblazers on a clear at 2:11.04. Eye Candy just about a second behind that, just over a second behind that with the clear on 2:12.16. Crusaders, new shaped team into the second half of the season for those that have been following. Luis Pedro Biroven of Argentina, Tanamara Macari of Mexico, and Daniel Coyle of Ireland. It's one of our most international teams, I think, for the competitions here this week. Giving it a little bit of World Cup theme. But starting off with Argentina, can they follow on in their football success with jumping success here? Luis Pedro Biroben, Chaco Bumpy. Again, championship rider for Argentina. and starts them off. So again, Northern Lights sitting in 4th place at the moment on the 4 faults at 2:22.98, which is essentially your lowest target that you want to be aiming for, and your top target is clear to 11:04.
Well, Luce is, as you say, one of these new riders on the team in this all-new lineup following the mid-season transfer window. 6 new riders on their squad. Today will be the first time that Daniel Coyle makes a team appearance as well, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing him jumping in this competition. But for Luis, he's jumped on the team twice already, once in San Miguel, a clear and a 4 there for him, and then just 2 down in Monterey. So 1 clear on the team so far for him. But Chaco Bumpy, a really experienced horse and one that we've seen in a lot of our 5-star competitions over recent weeks.
Oh, absolutely. Team rider for Argentina as well. Crusaders 5th in the championship at the moment on a score of 35. They had 1 second place. They've been twice 3rd as well, back into the early part of the season too. So
yeah, they had a really good run actually. A 2nd and then 2 thirds in quick succession, followed by a 4th. Unfortunately, it was 8th in our 2nd week in Monterey. So it's been a little bit of a tale of 2 halves for this team. Oh, and a rattle at the last.
A little rattle at the last. A little bit steadier for time. 76.37. Luis Pedro Biraben and Chaco Bumpy will start off the team with a good score, though. Starting with the 0 score there for Luis. And a bit of time that needs making up here. If they have a fence, they're going to have to make up a good few seconds to stay in contention with Helios and Northern Lights for that potential qualifying place. But a good start from Luis Pedro Biraben, because if they went 3 steady clears, that would still be better than the 4 falters.
It would. I think looking down the list of who we have still to come, though, we do have very strong lineups this week for Team Logano and the Spyco Spies. You know, Logano are bringing out Kent Farrington. Spyco Spies are bringing out Margie Engel as well. So by no means is this competition over. We could well see one of those teams heading into the top 4 still as well.
Tanamara Makari, a young rider coming through here, but I mean, she's had 2 wins here in the early days of this week as well, so she's had some good starts through the 2 and the 5-star as well, through those shoulder classes, and now that's going to give you confidence too.
Yeah, she had a fantastic start to this week, as you say, 1 2-star win and 1 5-star win for her, both in the same day, in fact, so fantastic day for her.
Yeah.
She's jumped on the team twice so far already, despite being, again, one of these new riders. She jumped a clear round for them in San Miguel and just picked up 1 time penalty in Monterey on her appearance there.
Just gather back together. It was a little bit of a communication discussion, but all good. This is a little bit steadier as well for time, but so far is jumping so nicely.
Interesting, though, that she did have the time penalty in Monterey, so I'm sure she might have an eye on the time, but this is arguably one of her most experienced horses.
Good turn back to the skinny. Now a move up here. She really got going down there. She saw one for whatever she intended, but took the fence with her. So it's going to put them on 4 and puts them on a little bit of the back foot there for the Crusaders team, because it's clear from their first, 4 from their second. Tanamara Makari on 72.10, so a team total of 4 so far and 148.47.
I have to say, I'm just looking at these times and I'm looking at the fact that the Northern Lights are on 4 and they're the slowest of the 4s. If they're in 5th place again on a slow 4 falter, that will just be agony.
Well, Tanamara, 72, Lewis 76, that average is about 74. Northern Lights had 2 rounds of 75 something and a 71.8. We will see. Daniel Coyle has got to put it together, and I would say he's more likely to be in the 71-70 territory than maybe the rest. Daniel Coyle with Quintin, reunited with this horse for Ariel Grange. It's always been part of their stable. And as you say, making his appearance, actually former team member of Eye Candy as well. So good bit of rivalry in there too. He's moved across the teams. That's what teams are all about, whether it's football, baseball, whatever it is.
Yes, exactly. That mid-season transfer window is there for a reason. They can transfer between teams, onto teams, off teams. He needs to be faster than 74.5 to drop, obviously with a clear as well, but in order to drop the Northern Lights into 5th place. But he's been jumping really well so far. Of course, had a win this morning in the 2-star Grand Prix as well.
Yes.
He's got some great horses at the moment as well. This is a slightly newer ride for him, but one that was competed really successfully by Hyde Moffat earlier in the year.
Well, as I said, it's a horse that he rode before as well,
Yeah.
so he's one he's been very used to. So say he's come back into the saddle of this horse recently. Got a good experience with it though, and as you say, he's got to be 70, 74, 5, 1 or 4. Oh, he takes another one, taking a run down there. Gonna be good. Gonna be fast enough. I said he'd be around 70, 71. He was 70.86. And clear there on the 4 for the Crusaders there as a team score then. And they will move ahead. Crusaders going into third so far. Helios in fourth place. Now that's the other key one here. You've got Helios in fourth place. They're on the cut line at the moment. Northern Lights, it's lights out.
It is just such a shame. I really feel for them because I really feel that they've absolutely gone for it in terms of a lineup to try to crack the time, but this is an entirely different competition.
It is. Trailblazers leading at the moment. Eye Candy are looking stronger now. Remember, there are 2 teams left. So actually, Eye Candy are in because the worst we can lose is 2 teams, Crusaders and Helios potentially, to Team Logano and Spyco. So Eye Candy are in. Helios are on the cut line, and so if these 2 teams, either of these 2 teams beat them, Eye Candy are gonna gain more ground in the championship.
And of course, the lady behind Team Eye Candy, Erica Hatfield, is here as well. Perhaps could be their lucky charm here, getting through to the final top 4.
Absolutely, we will see. Natalie Dean, though, is going to start off for the Logano team. Natalie Dean, Erin Ballard, and Ken Farrington. So 2 for the USA and 1 for Canada. And 2 major championship riders in there. US team rider starting us off with Natalie Dean and Cocolina. Again, she's originally from California as well.
Logano have actually used the same lineup for the last 3 competitions. Unfortunately, that's seen them be in 8th, 7th and 7th place. But that was the lineup of Natalie Dean, Erin Ballard and Carly Fairty. Now, Carly Fairty is not here this week, and so Kent Farrington is on the team. But they've got a very strong lineup of horses with Cocolina, Gakia and Austria as well. Possibly one of the strongest horse lineups. But Natalie's jumped 2 good clears for the team, one being in Toronto and 1 in Ottawa, helping them to their win in Ottawa. Their 1 win. Their 1 podium finish so far. Nice for them to get another one.
And another good result, 72.29, and it is a quick enough time compared to some of the others there. Natalie Dean and Cocolina, 72.29 for Natalie to start off for Team Logano. Team Logano needing a rise back up the rankings. Helios were not banking on this being the week, but we will see. They've got 2 more riders to come.
No, I think Helios were banking on some good results. I think they were riding a bit of a wave and they were hoping for some good scores here. But it's not all over yet. They still could win in theory.
And it's really interesting because the different stages, you say, I mean, in Monterey the other day, 4 faults was a really good score.
Yeah.
4 faults today is a tough score on the edge. And it's just one flick of a pole somewhere and suddenly your team's not in the game. But I find both as exciting as each one. It doesn't really matter. But Erin Ballard, World Championship rider this year for Canada with Gakia.
And interesting to see who the teams choose to field for the different environments. We're seeing similar sorts of lineups on these larger grass fields versus the smaller sand arenas. And of course, our previous leg in Monterey was indoors.
Yeah.
That was something quite different as well. Erin jumped a good clear for the team in Toronto at Angelstone tournaments. Had a couple of fences down at the 2 legs in Monterey, 1 down in San Miguel. But Team Logano really are looking for a bit of a climb up the rankings, but I think it would be a big ask for them to finish on the podium in the overall season standings.
Yes. But points make a difference. Even if it's the difference between finishing 7th and finishing 5th in the championship, all makes a big difference. So, Erin Ballard getting home for the team as well. Oh, that is going to make Helios sweat, because Erin Ballard getting home with a good round as well. On the clear there, takes the team score. She was on the time of 72 seconds, so team score 1:44.29. If they produce one more clear, and bearing in mind they're sending out Kent Farrington, one of the best in the world, on Austria 2, a horse that has won major classes, including the Rolex Top 10, Helios are going to have some very prosperic palms right now.
I really think they will have. Kent Farrington, former world number 1, as you say, he's won some amazing competitions with this horse. Been a fantastic partner for him, and the horse is really on form still.
And you were just doing a quick bit of maths. Even if he did have a fence, he's got a fair old margin of time to play with now.
If he has one fence down, he needs to be faster than 77 seconds really, to drop Helios into 5th.
Which, when everyone else is sitting around 72, 73, is the sort of keen. And again, Kent would be fine. This is not going to be slow the way they're going off down here on the 7th stride stand to 2. He will be really putting a nice tidy round here, because this horse is so used to doing this. It's done it at such a high level.
And again, he's another rider who is just so efficient with his turns and his lines, isn't he? And he just keeps the pace up, never loses a moment even on landing after these fences. He just has that pace up so consistently.
Just skips through that triple combination, no trouble at all.
Again, one of these smaller athletic horses.
Yeah.
So yeah, might not be Team Helios's day today, but again, it's not over till it's over.
No, and this is going to be a really good time. Looked like he got the 5 down to the double, which is all possible, but just can't quite see that one. But either way, it's quick. It's probably going to be one of the fastest so far, and it's going to be lights out for Team Helios. Even so, the last fence is dropping 67.14, but he's 10 seconds inside the time that you were reckoning there they needed. So on the 4 for Kent Farrington and Austria 2. Either way, Helios out. They are into 5th place now. Eye Candy in. So just one team left to come. The Trailblazers, the Eye Candy team. Lugano going into 3rd place. Crusaders in 4th. Now, bearing in mind, there is a gap there. 9 points for Helios and Eye Candy at the moment? Mm-hmm. It does mean that will close up whatever happens here. How much it closes it up, it might be a couple of points. We will see. But Helios are on the back foot. If Eye Candy can get home with the win, it's all on the last stage. So Lugano in. They're looking for a last big run here in the Championship Series, and maybe a potential win here, but they've got to get past Trailblazers with the best so far. Eye Candy, Crusaders in that top 4. Left to come are the Spikos team, and this is Rodrigo Lamre, Jordan Coyle, and Margie Goldstein in Engel. So a good mix up of Brazil, of Ireland, and of the USA. Rodrigo starting us off with Hubert B. Now, team that have been really interesting. They've been into that final jump off 5 times now and finished second every single time.
Yeah, and you really do want them to get a win, actually. And, you know, I think I've said this previously in the season, but for them to be knocking on the door so much, and they've had some fantastic medal jump-off rounds, and it's just been agonising to see them be second so many times. But again, 5 second places, 1 4th, and then a 7th and an 8th.
Yeah.
Just doing a little bit of quick maths again. If Eye Candy were to win and Helios were to finish in 5th place, the gap would close to 3 points between the two.
We will see.
Would be very tight indeed.
We will see.
And that would make next week incredibly exciting.
It would. Yeah. All fence down. So Now, remember the teams who got into the second round so far. Trailblazers, 4th in the championship at the moment. Eye Candy, 2nd in the championship. Lugano, 8th in the championship at this point. Crusaders, potential run there for them. They're 5th in the championship at the moment. So, with the 4 from Rodrigo Lambre, is going to come down to the final 2 riders. Now, it's a steady round 2. It's not quick. 79-16 for Rodrigo and Hubert B. Newer combination together, but just finishing on the 4. So team to come into play there, we will see. And so with the time there, 79-16 for Rodrigo Lambre. Jordan Coyle and Mlsj Engel still to come.
Well, Jordan Coyle's been such a key part of the team this year. He's made 5 appearances on the team for the Spyco Spies. 2 clears jumped for him, one being in Traverse City and one being in Monterey. But he's had 3 4-faulting rounds for the team as well, and he's often been selected for the medal jump-off as well. But Jordan himself has been a really consistent rider recently. He's got some great horses, Picador, of course, being one. Ariso, another horse that he has here this week, with whom he won the 5-star Grand Prix in Vancouver and also here in Thermal last year. But Picador, a really quick horse for him. And with that fence down from Rodrigo Lambre, Jordan Coyle will absolutely be doing everything he can to try to keep the fences up and try to keep the time down.
And news just in. Just change things around of what we just said. Team Helios are in because they were just checking over a time for Tanamara and Makari. You can do that on the system, then go through the technology. And 75.35 was her time, finishing on 4. And that was a corrected time. So Team Helios, by 1 second, are back in it. 22-21-68. So our judges having gone through there, and that is the conclusion. So Helios back in. So having been through the drama, we continue the drama because they're back in the game. Team Helios in 4th place at the moment. Spyco Spies, 4 and clear. Jordan Coyle very fast at 67.06. Now Jordan there will have made up a bit of ground for them. So Mlsj is going to have to get the job done, but you're going to go and sit and do the maths because I can see you doing it as we speak to see what Mlsj's margin needs to be. 75.46.
That is Mlsj's margin.
That's Mlsj's margin. Excellent. 75.46. So she needs to be clear and quicker than that to knock out Team Helios again, who are in at the moment, could be out again. So we're in, we're out, we're shaking it all about. That's what we're doing with the order at the moment.
And what a rider to be banking on as your final rider to go. The final rider in the first round as well. Mlsj has made 4 appearances on the team competition so far. She's jumped 5 clears, double clear in Traverse City, double clear in Ottawa, and then 1 clear in the second trip to Traverse City. Gives her an 83% clear round rate for the team. Royce, of course, such an experienced horse for her. And what an experienced lady to be piloting this horse around this track. 75 is the time that she needs to be under, and she needs to be clear to put Spyco Spies ahead of Team Helios. I would love to be sitting with Team Helios downstairs just to see how they are feeling about this.
I wouldn't want any of them hanging onto your arm right now because you'll have a few marks on it because they'll be clinging tight.
This is actually the first time, Mlsj hasn't appeared on the team since Traverse City, so she hasn't appeared on the team competition for some time. So again, evidence that the big guns are coming out for these final legs.
Ooh, Mlsj. Time's looking good. She's got to get this last fence. If she does, Helios are back out again. And there we go. It is going to be 70.97. So for the Spyco Spies, finishing on the 4 faults there. Mlsj Engel will drop them into 4th place again. Back to our previous conversation, it is good night Helios. They go into 5th place. So as much as there was, as I say, a little chance of them getting in as they went through the technicalities, it was all fairly done. But unfortunately, it still means they don't go through. So they just weren't quick enough. Helios finished on a time of 2:21.68 and 4 faults. Spyco Spies finished on the score of 4 there to go into 4th place. So the Trailblazers, the Eye Candy team, Lugano, Spyco Spies go through. Reinstate what we said about the Eye Candy team, because they again have got their chance here. That's how it sits. There you go. Helios going to get some points, but not as many maybe as Eye Candy. Maybe, if Eye Candy finish 4th here, it's not going to be much of a margin. If they finish in 1st, it's going to be a much bigger margin from that point of view. So, fingers, toes crossed if you're supporting Team Eye Candy. Slumping into the sofa if you're supporting Team Helios, because it's getting harder to get to that final championship win. And if you are supporting Team Lugano, they are shining bright. Once again, the Ottawa winners, Eye Candy twice winner this season, Trailblazers without a win, have got a chance here. Can they get it done here in the desert?
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
All you need to know about round 2. 4 teams advance to round 2, 2 riders per team, and they start on a 0 score. No scores are carried over. In this round, it's only time that counts. 3 seconds are added to the time for each rail dropped. The 2 slowest teams advance to the bronze medal round. The 2 fastest teams, though, advance to the gold medal round. Round 3. Here the decider. This is where the battle really comes down to the finish. One rider per team, the rider that did not jump in round 2. Here you play the strategy. The winner, simply the fastest from your round. Speed puts you on the podium. And the lineup for round 2 looks like this, and it is going to be the teams going reverse order with the Trailblazers, Eye Candy and Lugano going forward to that second round alongside the Spyco Spies. It is goodbye to Helios Crusaders, Northern Lights and the Roadrunners, the home team, afraid, on the 8, taking them out of the running here of the big competition. But it's going to keep it very, very interesting indeed in the overall championship. Points here, but it is also double points next week as well. So that makes things even more interesting, and looking like that gap could really close up between the top 2 or even 3 teams going into that final stage as well. It's going to leave it fairly open going into that final rundown of the overall title for 2022. So looking forward to that. It's going to make it really one to watch with us as you join us in the stadium next week for the change around there as we go under the lights for the final stage of Major League Jumping for the year. But Helios out, Eye Candy, all eyes on them to see whether they can bring things home. And let's get closer and closer to that. We'll take you around the shortened course. Remember, it's Table C this time around, as we just mentioned a few moments ago. 3 seconds added for a fence down. So it's all about the times. 2 riders of the team go into round 2, 1 rider of the team into round 3. But in round 2, it's about finding your position, because you need to be in the top 2 teams. If you're not, all you can compete for is 3rd and 4th. So again, Eye Candy at this point need to make sure they stay in the top 2. And we're going to take a look at the course for that upcoming second round. And it starts off over the Caladay fence again, as we saw 7 strides down here, potentially down here to the high gain fence at fence 2. Familiar run for the first few on the course, 3 and 4. So they've got the rollback here from the vertical, the Major League vertical at 3, coming round the natural fence there in the arena. So they can't cut back to that. They've got to just make up as much ground as they can back to 3, 4. And so back over 4 and then into what is now a double. First part taken away, 5, B and C, what was the triple combination. And then new fence 15 comes up on the track then with the horse's head at that point. At fence 15, another vertical to chase around. And then one more after that at 16 at the Oxford to finish off. So that's what the course will look like for them. And say under the Table C format. And really winding finish to take them to a close of each of the rounds. And it'll be the same course for the 2 rounds of competition for this team competition. And we are nearly set to go. Table C, speed of the essence, and a lot on the line here on this penultimate stage of Major League Jumping. Trailblazers, Eye Candy, Lugano, Spyco Spies all in the game. Spy Coast, who finished second 5 times now. Trailblazers without a win in the series so far. Eye Candy 2 wins. Lugano winners in Ottawa. They've all had a taste of the top of the podium. Trailblazers, though, might well put them to the fire yet. They've been going and trending in the right direction, haven't they? Because they've been going, second and third in the last couple of runnings down in Mexico. Where will your money go? We will see. Hannah, that's what it looks like. Form-wise, it's quite hard to pick through here.
I think it's really hard to pick, actually. I think Team Eye Candy have been extremely consistent, never out of the top 5 yet. Spyco Spies, 5 second places. Trailblazers come here from 2 podium finishes. Lugano have 1 win, but arguably from their results in the season so far might not necessarily look like the strongest of that top 4. However, they do now have Kent Farrington. So
they do. They are, as I say, there's a different shape to some of the teams here this week. They've got all the big guns out in all the same places and really going hard now for the close of the season, which is going to make it really tough to get to the top. As you can see how tough it is. 4 faults today wasn't good enough. 4 faults, 7th place today for the teams. Roadrunners on the 8. Down into 8th place. Now, a few weeks ago, if you'd been sitting in Monterey, you'd have taken 8 and gone, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But different venues, different courses, different horses, all very interesting indeed. So we're going to go in reverse order, starting off with the Spy Coast Farm team. Rodrigo Lamre and Hubert B is going to be teaming up with Mlsj Engel, which is a really interesting partnership. Brazil teams up with the USA, with a lady from Miami. So Rodrigo Lamre, championship rider too, of course, for Brazil. To start off. Now, say for the Spy Coast team here, this is where you can lift yourself up. Remember, you go back to a 0 score because this is about time. So the 2 times added together will be their score here, and you've got to be in the top 2 teams if you want to be firing for the number 1 and number 2 spot here. So this is the first line once again. As we see, they can get a real move on here, but they've just got to be careful that they don't drift too far. It gets a good turn away. That's very tidily done for Rodrigo. Back to the Whittier Trust fence at fence 4, and then first part taken away of this triple. It's now a double. Bit more space to get at it, but a chance a bit more to get a run at it, which means a fence down there. So 3 seconds to add to the score for Rodrigo Lamre. That'll get it added into their score. And Rodrigo now here to the last of the big doors to finish off. Is it going to be doors closed for Spy Coast Farm? We'll see. So final time of 46.54 for Rodrigo Lamre. Was 42. 54 with the time added in. And in fact, confirmed time of 45.54. 45.54 is 42 plus the 3 there, so 45.54 for the Spy Coast team. So first away, 45.54 for him, and now on to Mlsj and Royce.
Great clear for this pair in round 1, and she absolutely did everything she needed to. She was the fastest out of her team. Well, actually, she was faster than Rodrigo, but Jordan Coyle was faster even than her, and it's Jordan Coyle again who's been selected for that medal jump off.
Yeah, interesting. Jordan to go potentially for the gold. We'll see. We've got a long way to go yet. Mlsj really using this horse's power and ability through the first couple.
But I think this is a really interesting choice because the Spy Coast Spies are sitting in 3rd in the season standings, but a 1st or 2nd would give them a little bit of an edge and could put them ahead of Team Eye Candy.
So into seconds, yeah.
Exactly. And so actually to get 1st or 2nd is potentially more valuable than, well, it is much more valuable to them
than, say, Trailblazers that are a little bit
exactly
further down that have a chance yet to be on the podium this season. But good round here from Mlsj. Looks like she's going to make up some of that time there as well. So she's 41.4. So combined team score, so plus the 45.54 for Mlsj Engel makes 86.94 as the final time of the 2 team scores added together for Mlsj and for Rodrigo. We'll see. But they do have that 3-second wiggle in there that they just had added on. So will it be enough? We will find out in a few moments, because we go to Team Logano with Erin Ballard going to go for Team Logano and Kent Farrington. Now, really interesting. 2 big riders here. Both have competed World Championships. Of course, Kent having gone on to a silver medal at the Olympics. He also competed at the Olympics last time out as well in Tokyo. Erin Ballard, wonderful rider to watch as well. This is a real team up of these two, because again, you always think you're going to put your maybe, it's hard to say strongest rider because they've got a strong group all the way through here with Natalie to go last, but you say use your assets differently than maybe you would expect.
And again, I think they've chosen 2 very strong riders with the aim of getting into the gold medal jump off, and Natalie was the rider who was in the
Yeah.
medal jump-off when they won in Ottawa as well.
Yep. Sealed it up in Canada.
So she's done it once before
Yeah.
on a not dissimilar arena.
No, exactly. Erin looking to get the job done here. Just pacing here. Just got to be careful that, but just push that front bar. Still good though. Gets a nice cut into that vertical. This is going to be a quick time. This is going to put Logano potentially in the driving seat. Going to be at 41.33. Good round there from Erin Ballard to start off for Team Logano. Team Logano on the fight back.
Fastest time so far.
Yeah. 41.33 from Erin Ballard. And we'll hand over to Kent Farrington and Austria 2. Do not be surprised to see this pair go fast.
Just comes in so calmly, just taking a little bit of a look around some of his turns. But as you were saying earlier, Kent has competed in so many top-level competitions, and Austria too is a horse who's done the same.
Kent naturally fast pairing here. This is where they could really put the power on for the rest, put the pressure on. Light, efficient, so good on those turns. Now again, he's just got to have this balanced up right. Yes, he does. Looking good. Slick so far. 41.33 to be teamed up with this time from Kent Farrington. That's going to look very similar as well. Oh, he goes to cut it at the last. And it doesn't work out. And so he's going to have 3 seconds added in. So that is going to take them up to 44.39. 44.39 for Kent Farrington and Austria 2. So combined score 85.72. And that still leaves them faster than the Spy Coast team.
Yep, still a fraction ahead of the Spy Coast Spies, but there is not much in it at all. Interesting that both of the teams that we've had so far have had one rider clip one pole, so one rider add the 3 seconds. So good times and clear rounds could well be the key here if they can keep the fences up. Of course, the 2 riders for Eye Candy also 2 excellent riders here.
Yes, so it is with Team Logano on 85.72 ahead of the Spy Coast Spies. We will go on with our final 2 teams then, with the Eye Candy team. And it is going to be a lineup coming up for the Eye Candy squad. Our lineup here looking at our first to go being Amy Miller. And Cristiano rode on a winning ride earlier on this season for Amy. That was at the American Gold Cup.
I think we're seeing a similar strategy from a lot of these teams. They're teaming up some very experienced combinations to get them into the gold medal jump-off. Having said that, Paul O'Shea, of course, was the man who clinched the win for Eye Candy in Monterey when we jumped indoors. And he is the rider who'll be hopefully heading for the same again tonight.
Good round there from Amy Miller. Similar time to that of the likes of Kent Farrington, etc. 41.14. Quick there, but leaving all the fences up for Amy Miller and Cristiano. So again, we're looking advantage Eye Candy at the moment. Still with Connor Swale to come and Theo 160 for the Eye Candy squad.
Certainly super fast. Next rider right there, Connor Swale aboard Theo 160.
So the world number 5. Eye Candy climbing.
They could potentially be climbing. This could be a really crucial result for them.
interesting because their results earlier in the season, they thought they were sitting a bit too far back, that it wasn't going to be a big season for them. Maybe they could finish well, but Helios were dominating so much early on. Now it started to move around, and that's where it's so interesting coming across an overall championship. Connor Swale then, Theo 160. Connor, who's been getting win after win after win as he does, he's just been such a prolific run in recent times to keep him up there in the world's top 5.
Yeah, he's been in the top 5 for quite a few months now, hasn't he? And as with remaining in the top ranks of the world and also in the top ranks of this season, it is about consistency.
This is going to be very quick. Very quick from Connor Swale. He could get under 40 and said, just close to it. 40.39 for Connor Swale. So the Eye Candy team, 41.14 and 40.39 takes them to 81.53. Now remember the other teams had seconds added in. So 81.53 from Team Eye Candy. So that will put them in there regardless, because that's the quickest. So they are going into the gold medal ride-off now, a little later on, of course, but they are into that. Lugano are in the danger zone in second. Spy Coast in third at the moment. Trailblazers stand in the way with the Eye Candy going ride off against Lugano for the gold, or they ride off against the Trailblazers. We will see. Trailblazers last out after that brilliant performance. Lily Keenan to go first, and she's teaming up with Luis Sabino Gonçalves of Portugal, and leaving Dara Kenny for the third round.
Lily's been one of the riders selected to aim for the medal jump-offs a couple of times now. Relying on her speed. She's actually clipped a couple of poles, so she has added a couple of 3 seconds in her previous performances, but I'm sure with this competition in mind, she'll really be hoping to keep the fences up here.
As we mentioned earlier, coming in on a real high after a World Cup win and a major Grand Prix win in recent weeks.
The gap from Eye Candy to Lugano is a little bit more than 4 seconds.
Yeah.
So potentially, if the Trailblazers are, if they're averaging kind of 42-ish,
yes,
then they'll go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say 41, 42, somewhere around that mark. And the way she's moved away from there, looking to try and achieve that, she's going to come at this with confidence. And is going to be not far away from that time. They've just got to keep coming to the last, not take too wide a turn to it. They're going to be about 41, 42, 43, so it's going to leave it on the wire. So 85.72 for Lugano at the moment. Lily home with 42.43. Hannah's going to go to the calculator, which is great because I've run out of hands. And so I'm just doing it all on my fingers. Luis Sabino Gonçalves will go with Vic Ducressy for the second rider there for the Trailblazers team. Will they push out Lugano? They need to be 43.29.
Yeah.
Well, basically better than that, because if they're on that, they're on the same time, and it all gets very confusing then.
Yeah, they need to be
what we do at that
43.28 or faster.
43.28 or faster. I think it goes back to some of the slot. I think how they finished in the first round. On we go then, Luis Sabino Gonçalves and Victor Croissy. So he's certainly still under pressure. That's the interesting thing with the Table C part, as opposed to Table A at this point, because instead of jumping clear, or if you have a fence, that's it done. There is no letter P. You've all got to keep going at this. Luis Sabino, look as though he's on the pace. He's just got to be careful how quick he comes in here. Oh yeah. Hangs the leg in the air, has it down, 3 seconds to add. It might be too much for the Trailblazers. It might well be that we see Eye Candy against Lugano. We will see. He's coming fast. He's given it every effort. 44.34 from Luis Sabino Gonçalves and Victor Croissy to the 42.43. By my quick maths, that won't be enough. But we'll get that confirmed from that point of view. 42.43 takes them to 86.77. So they will go third. So third for the Trailblazers. Spyco Spies finishing in fourth on 86.94, but they won't finish in fourth because they're going to ride off for third and fourth now. Trailblazers against the Spyco's team for third and fourth. Eye Candy against Logano for the lineup here. So Eye Candy in the driving seat, but Logano could be holding the back. Whatever happens here, though, Eye Candy are getting big points. Helios finished 5th. We know that. We know that's done and dusted. So that's going to make it very, very close going into the final stages. So that's what it's going to look like. Eye Candy and Logano are going to ride off for the 1st and 2nd spot. Trailblazers and Spy Coast team going to ride off for the 3rd and 4th place from that point of view. And you're actually going to tell us, Hannah, who we've got going for each of those teams too.
Yes, absolutely. So for the bronze medal jump off, the 3rd place podium jump off, we have for the Trailblazers, Dara Kenny with Chic Chic, and for the Spy Coast Spies, Jordan Coyle with Picador. 2 fantastic combinations there, and Jordan has ridden in that medal jump off several times already this year. And then for Team Eye Candy, we have Paul Mlsj, who is the rider who clinched the win for them in Monterey when we jumped indoors. And for Team Logano, it's down to Natalie Dean, who also clinched the win for Team Logano in Ottawa.
So we've got good experience in there with that lineup. Good luck to them all. Trailblazers aren't going to get their first win behind them, but Logano or Eye Candy could get their 2nd or 3rd, depending on the team, wins of the season here in the desert.
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com.
And here we go, getting set for the final lineup. That was the round 2 results. We flip those for this final stage. 1 rider for each of the teams. Spy Coast Spies against the Trailblazers. Spy Coast will go first. Logano against Eye Candy to decide the winner here at the first week of the Desert International Horse Park, this fabulous facility in California. And so here you have the matchup. It's 2 of the island's top riders, with Jordan Coyle going first against Dara Kenny, Picador against Chic Chic, and Jordan Coyle again goes into this final stage for the Spy Coast team. They've tended to use him in that direction. Really interesting matchup against Dara Kenny, because this is a real battle of the Irishmen, but of 2 very competitive riders.
Very competitive riders, very good horses as well, and also both of them are really quite known for speed.
Certainly are. So Picador going to start off with Jordan Coyle. I say these 2 teams, the best they can go for is 3rd place. So Trailblazers have been picking up well in the last part of the season as well, because they've been running through, what, seconds and thirds. Worst they're going to be here is fourth once again. So they've picked up some good points in the latter stages. Jordan. Good start again. Knows Dara coming behind him. Cannot absolutely leave an inch of ground. He cannot go wide or anywhere because Dara will be slick. Oh, and he tries to just pull one off there by just going really tight up to cut that fence. So he's going to have 3 seconds to add. Lands in 42.91 for Jordan Coyle and Picador. So 3 to add for the Spyco Spies rider there.
And Chick for Trailblazers. This is for the bronze medal.
And so we got Dara Kenny heading on in then with Chic to try and beat that time. Final time of 42.91 with the 3 seconds added in there for Jordan Coyle. So very fast one, around about 39. Dara Kenny then to try and beat that. So he's got a little bit of breathing space with 3 seconds added in, but Jordan, of course, put a really big pressure round on there, getting down to 39 to see them at 42.91 as a final time. So you can have a fence down and still be in a good position. Dara got to chase that, and is that going to have to really chase that because it is still not an idle time. Moves away from that double in just around 28 seconds. If he leaves this last fence up, he should have this okay, and he will. It's going to be 40.96, so it's not by a big margin. Dara Kenny and Chic will get home 40.96, so they will finish into third place for the Trailblazers. So they're going to take home the bronze medal here this afternoon. It just leaves our 2 teams to battle for 1 and 2. And it's Team Lugano up against Team Eye Candy. So Paul O'Shea for the Eye Candy team, Natalie Dean for the Lugano team with the horses Squirt Gun and Cocalina respectively. And both teams that have had previous wins, 2 previous wins for the Eye Candy team, 1 for Lugano team, and we saw just a few weeks ago in Monterey indoors, Paul O'Shea riding a really fast round with Squirt Gun back outside. Will it suit them? Because Natalie Dean was the winner on the turf up in Ottawa, similar arena to this, big grass arena for them to take a run here. So Natalie Dean to go for Team Lugano with Cocalina. That leaves Paul O'Shea with a target. Oh, 3 seconds to add. That gives Paul a little bit of margin. So they don't have to worry about the 2 times they're up there at the moment. It's just between these 2. Cuts in at the last. Still going to put a pressure time in of 43.31. It is certainly not an easy time to beat, but there is a little bit of breathing space in there. Just having that Whittier Trust fence down to add the 3 seconds. So 43.31 for Natalie Dean there for Team Lugano. Whatever happens, they're going to finish in second. Well, Eye Candy looking to get the job done here this afternoon. Rest of the team members like Jacqueline Steffens just in the background there, just getting set to go and support. It's down to Paul O'Shea on his own for the Irishman. So time to beat 43.31. Winner just a few weeks ago in Monterey. Can he follow it up here and keep Eye Candy with a chance of getting the championship over Team Helios? Key part for him is leave the fences up at this same pace. It's a similar pace to that of Natalie Dean so far. Little touch there at the silver birch, but okay. He can afford to give a little bit of breathing space to this slice. Leave this up and it should be good night. And thank you for the Eye Candy team. Is it going to be enough? 42.65. It's not by a big margin, but it is enough for Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun to bring home the win for the Eye Candy team. So they will finish in the #1 spot once again. Logano going to finish into second place there. Eye Candy bringing home another win, and that is going to make for a very interesting championship finish here next week in the desert. Remember, it's next Thursday is the final stages of the overall Major League Show Jumping for 2022. Eye Candy with the win, Logano in second, Trailblazers in third. And that is going to do some shaking to the overall table as too. We're going to see that at the very end of our proceedings today. So we'll bring you that a little bit later on. Spyco Spies finishing in fourth place in today's competition this first week here in the desert. Congratulations to that lineup. They're just going on their own lap of honour. Congratulations to Paul. 2 wins on the bounce for the Eye Candy team. Congratulations to them. And Paul O'Shea once again bringing home the win with a fabulous ride there of Squirt Gun. Squirt Gun that has become one of the horses of the Major League Jumping and certainly suited to this super team competition. Great story with that horse as well. So we're going to catch up with Paul in just a few moments' time. But Eye Candy are supreme here. Helios finishing in 5th place. Ooh. Not quite there, just so close. They had a big lead and it's just slipped away going into the final stages. And we'll have another look at the round here of Paul O'Shea just before we go and catch up with our winner. So Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun. Similar stride pattern to the rest as they roll down there. It was the fence down for Natalie Dean that just made things just a fraction easier for the Eye Candy team. Now, say by our reckoning, this will close up to Helios just being 3 points ahead of Eye Candy with double points on the final with 20 points for the win. That will make things a lot harder indeed. So, coming home there, Paul O'Shea with Squirt Gun on 42.65. He'd done, if you like, just enough to get the job done for them, and that's what it's all about. So Paul O'Shea finishes your winner here. Super round from him here in the double, which caught a couple. Again, they just had to be so clean through there, which they were. And Paul O'Shea rides off with a win for Team Eye Candy. Spyco Spies are not going to be far away either. Trailblazers just about in touching distance, but not going to be enough to get them to a #1 spot. But it could leave them with a shot at the podium as well. So it's going to be close between those teams. And Logano, good result here, should lift them off the bottom of the championship table as it stands at the moment. Hannah's going to catch up with our winning rider as well, with Paul O'Shea after that super finish is here today.
Paul, another fantastic round for you to clinch the win once again. 2 legs in a row for Team Eye Candy. How are you feeling?
Good.
You must be extremely pleased with this horse.
I am Squirt Gun. He's an amazing horse. He's such a character. He's very easy to ride, and he always gives 200%. So I'm very fortunate to be able to ride him.
And crucially, this win today has closed the gap between you and Team Helios to just 3 points. So what do you think the strategy might be for next week? Because surely you want to win this.
We'll just do the best we can. I mean, I guess it makes it more interesting that for the final that's a little bit closer. So we'll just do our best to go out and do our best. That's all we can do.
And Eye Candy have now been in the top 5 every single time in every single leg this season. What do you think it is about this team that makes you so consistent?
Erica Hatfield behind us all the time, trying to get the best out of us. That's what it is, yeah.
Great team spirit.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, huge congratulations and enjoy your celebrations.
Thank you.
Well, a little bit of celebrating to do there for Team Eye Candy. Yeah, we're going to see them for that in just a few moments' time. Well done to them, and building up for the presentation to our top 3 teams here at the Desert Horse Park for the first of 2 weeks of competition. Fading sunshine, and just coming into the latter part of the day, you can see just this beautiful carpet of green, a velvety covering across the soil here, and it is a wonderful arena to be in. We've still got the Grand Prix to come for you tomorrow as well, and let's remind you of how that timing will all come together too. So that's going to be tomorrow afternoon for the Grand Prix class, and that is going to be aimed at being 1 o'clock local time for that here at La Quinta stage of the events here for Major League Show Jumping. So the champagne being put in place, and presentation about to get underway for our leading 3 teams here in stage 1 with a mountainous background. Eye Candy have had a mountain to climb to get back in contention for the championship, but they are in contention indeed, and it looks like they're going to be 3 points off the top going into that final stage. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Make sure you follow along. Eye Candy, Lugano, Trailblazers will be along for that presentation for our top 3 here in California.
Again, our top 3 going to be coming back. Our top 3 teams. That means 9 members. Each team having 3. Again, those finals happening next week. As part of the 2022 Desert Holiday Week number 2. That'll be next week. But just a great format here. The Major League Show Jumping Team Competition, with 8 teams of 3 riders in round number 1. Round number 2, the top 4, they wanted to stay above that cutoff line. And the top 4, and that determined the overall. They went for the gold or the silver or the bronze or 4th place.
And making their way in are leading teams of today's competition, and so the team finishing into 3rd place with the Trailblazers team this time around, and again finishing top 3, this time a different shape to the team with Lily Keenan, Dara Kenny and new face Luis Sabino Gonçalves of Portugal.
The silver medalist, that is Team Lugano, Natalie Dean, Erin Ballard, Kent Farrington.
And the team in 2nd place for Team Lugano, Erin Ballard, Kent Farrington and Natalie Dean.
Right there, the silver medalist from Team Lugano, Natalie Dean, Erin Ballard, and Kent Farrington, as they are joining us right by the podium. So make sure you download the Major League Show Jumping app. And it's available for free on the App Store, Google Play, to keep up with all the standings. As we move towards the 10th.
And the leading team about to make their way in. It is another success story for the Eye Candy team here in the desert. And they're seeing the Lugano team with their top 3 and riding in on their horses as well for the top team for Eye Candy, Amy Miller, Cristiano, Connor Swale and Theo 160, and to be joined too by Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun.
Please, big round of applause. Just great riders, great horses as well. Connor Swale aboard Theo 160, Amy Miller aboard Cristiano, Paul O'Shea aboard Squirt Gun. And brand new coolers aboard their respective mounts. Theo 160, Cristiano, and Squirt Gun. And riders, Connor Swale, Amy Miller, and Paul O'Shea as they take home the gold medal. Here, the 9th leg of the series. We'll get the grooms over to their respective mounts as well. And those grooms also such a huge part of these wonderful teams coming together. And the gold medal team just making the way over to the podium. We will introduce you to the bronze medal team first, then the silver medalists, and then, of course, the gold medalists. And the bronze medal team, Trailblazers, that is Lily Keenan, Luis Gonsalves.
And coming up for the presentation, then the top 3 for the Trailblazers. Into 3rd place for Lily Keenan, with Derek Kenny and Luis Simino Gonsalves, and our presenters just heading on out there. Representing our sponsors, Whittier Trust, Catherine Weissman and Devin Wickie presenting.
The silver medalist, that is Team Lugano.
And Team Lugano finishing into 2nd place this time. Really getting their feet now. Erin Ballard, Ken Farrington and Natalie Dean finishing into 2nd spot. And the winning team to take to the podium. Congratulations to the top 3 there. It is well done once again to the Eye Candy team as they make it a 3rd win of the season. It is going to be for Amy Miller, Cristiano, Connor Swale, and also for Paul O'Shea, who once again rides the winning rounds here for Major League.
So riders on the podium right there. Gold, silver, and bronze. Again, that gold medal team, Connor Swale, Amy Miller, Paul O'Shea. Silver, Natalie Dean, Erin Ballard, Kent Farrington. Bronze, Lily Keenan, Luis Gonsalves, and Derek Kenny. And we will have the official photographs taken. All those riders with their wonderful and those beautiful flowers. It's such a great concept.
And there are top 3 teams. Well done to them, and good luck to them next week as well. Raising the flowers as a triumphant top 3 for this Major League jumping stop. And so going to bring in some of the team here from the Desert Horse Park and our sponsors from Whittier Trust to be a part of the presentations. Steve Hankin there representing the team alongside Rob and Sandy Meadows. Jamie Smithall joining into that lineup alongside the Whittier Trust sponsors. Congratulations to them. And our thanks to the venue here. A super venue that has just continued to get better and better. And we'll bring in the Horse Neon, one of the mascots of the Major League for the final photo.
Those teams once again, Team Eye Candy, gold medalist Connor Swale, Amy Miller, Paul O'Shea. Silver medalist, that's Team Lugano, and that is Natalie Dean, Aaron Ballard, and Kent Farrington. The bronze medalist, that is Team Trailblazers, Lily Keenan, Luis Gonzalez, Dara Kenny. And well-deserved, raising those flowers up above their heads. Riders, you have done such an amazing job for 9 legs of the 10 legs of the tour here. And Team Eye Candy, their 3rd win in the series.
And champagne moment. They're all rushing in. There we go. And someone looks a little bemused. But other than that, the rest of them are all got it worked out. Champagne shower. Congratulations to Team Eye Candy. We'll finish the winners, Lily Keenan and Natalie Dean. Literally getting an eyeful there.
These riders, they are great friends outside of the ring. And that shows right there. Riders, awesome job. Team Eye Candy, well, we'll give you a little reprieve there as we will get you back on your respective mounts. But great job, riders. And Team Eye Candy, Connor Swale, Amy Miller, Paul O'Shea with the win there, that gold medal. Team Lugano, Natalie Dean, Aaron Ballard, Kent.
And a beautiful evening here in La Quince. So with that wonderful backdrop of the mountainside behind and a wonderful forescape of that stunning arena as well, it is we will send off our leading team and look forward to returning next Thursday for the final stage of Major League Show Jumping 2022. Will Eye Candy reclaim the championship they won last year, or will it be a win for Team Helios? They've been hanging on by their fingernails. They extended their lead earlier on in the year. Now it's fallen back. Now it's a resurgence of the Eye Candy team. It's all going to the wire. It's all going to the final stage here in California to complete the last chapter of this year's Major League Show Jumping. I'll take you through the full rundown of how the points sit as well for the championship in a few moments' time. But in the meantime, it is time for the victory gallop for our leading team. 3 fantastic horses as well. Cristiano, Theo 160 and Squirt Gun. And aboard, Canada's Amy Miller, Ireland's Connor Swale, and Ireland's Paul O'Shea.
With Connor Swale, Amy Miller, Paul O'Shea. As they win the 9th leg, that certainly will affect the standings. And we're going to find out those standings in just a little bit. Also, once again, for the up-to-minute standings results and more, download the Major League Show Jumping app. That's at Mlsj.net. The app available for free on the App Store and Google Play. And again, please, big round of applause. Those winning pair right there, the winning combination, all 3 of them. And that is Paul O'Shea's Squirt Gun. What an amazing ride. Connor Swale and Theo 160, Amy Miller and Cristiano. And that is a dream team right there for Team Eye Candy. Wow. What a super fun event right here in this absolutely amazing grass stadium. And part of the 2022 Desert Holiday Week #1. Great thanks to Whittier Trust.
And so as we complete the first week of team competitions, I say Grand Prix to come tomorrow. Helios, 3 points lead confirmed there only just then. Eye Candy in second spot on 61. Spyco Spies on 53. So more extended gap there with 11 points difference up to the #1 spot. But still with double points next week, a potential to get up there. Trailblazers on 44. They can't. It's going to be between those top 3 for who will win the championship. Trailblazers can still get on the podium, though. Crusaders in 5th on 38. Roadrunners on 32. Lugano lift up into 7th place on 30. And 1 point ahead of the Northern Lights with the Show Plus team in 8th place on 29. We look forward to seeing you next week. As I say, Thursday evening will be the decider for the Major League team competition. We'll bring you the Grand Prix tomorrow. We look forward to seeing you then from the Desert Horse Park here in California.
Great rest of this beautiful Saturday. We'll see you tomorrow.